Hello, hello. Let me just get this here. Hello, everyone, and welcome again to another stream. Let me just check. Uh, Yeah, I think the audio is fine. Anyways, hello, everyone, and welcome again to another stream of me reading slash reacting to My Hero Academia fanfiction. Oh my gosh. I'm hoping today's stream won't get cut or divided like the other ones. I've took. Oh wait, I was going to say like I've taken some measures, but I'm watching a little cable getting like a little out. So I'm just gonna. There we go. I don't know if you can hear that or hear me because again I'm testing a new mic. There we go. Laptop here and microphone over here. Oh my gosh, sorry. Okay, with all this said and done, let me just get this started. As always, oh my gosh, the audio. As always, here is our list. As you can see from the title of the stream, today we are continuing with the Heartbreaker one from 𝐇𝐄𝐀𝐄𝐑. Hoping if we get to the 12th chapter, I think we're going to get it today. Then next stream, we are moving on to the Elysian one. All of this from Wattpad. Because why not? Hello? Uh, I think my computer was just about to shut down. I hope I'm still on stream. Please stop doing this to me. Like, the music just stopped for a moment and I was like, oh, not again. But I think we are still on. I think the audio is still going on, so I'm just gonna pause the music. I'm gonna check on stream if everything's still going on. Okay, I think still going on. And with no more delays, let's start with the chapter 7 from Heartbreaker. Again, well, it's Cersei Kikyo 851 and Starflame X are the same person. Okay, it's not a mistake. I swear. Anyways, as always, let's vote to support the creators. And as always, if you want to read this at your own pace, oh my gosh, I'll be leaving the links on the description below to their profile and to the story. And also there's the playlist on the playlist channel. There's also the link if you want to just go there. Yeah. Anyways, let's continue. If I remember, this fic is about us getting on My Hero Academia, of course, and us being a reader slash Athena slash King Athena, because of course, and we have a system, a bitch system. Oh wait, my computer is falling off. Ah! Oh no! Why are you falling? You're not supposed to fall. There we go. As I was saying, we have a system, a bitch system, and who's trying to for us to make everyone fall in love with us. Well, not everyone, but main characters, because of course. And yeah, I think that's that's the whole summary I have in my head. So let's just get started. Chapter 7, a new task. Please consider leaving a vote. There we go. Here is the symbol of star. You should have known that things wouldn't go smoothly for you, no matter how desperate you try to avoid Katsuki. The system is adamant that you try and win him over, and now that you're officially stuck in the same class as him, you no longer have the option of hiding. Athena, there's a free spot over there, the teacher gestures, right next to Bakugo. Oh, come on! Gritting your teeth, you nod reluctantly. There. You nod reluctantly and all but drag your feet over towards your next desk. It's no wonder the seat is empty. Given the option, you doubt most people will choose to sit next to Katsuki. Izuku's desk is a bit further towards the back, and you can't help but glance over at him with a mildly pleading expression. You really wish you could sit next to him instead. At least you're in the same class together. Katsuki can't seem to stand you, so he probably prefers to avoid interacting with you altogether. Right? Once again, you're way off the mark. I see you decided to stalk me all the way to school, too, Katsuki sneers. He's pathetic. Get a life. You can't even begin to describe how badly you want to smack him. Still, you choose to ignore his commentary as you sit down. Antagonizing him will just make your points drop even more, and you aren't really in the mood for another horrific nightmare at the hand of the systems. At the end of the day, bullies crave attention. If you don't give him that attention, he'll eventually get bored and give up. Ha! Of course not. You do your best to focus on the lesson, despite the fact that Katsuki's glare is practically burning its way through you. Although you're trying to avoid eye contact, your curiosity gets the best of you a couple of times, and you end up glancing towards him. In one instance, your eyes lock with his. Seemingly surprised that you caught him staring, Katsuki grows awfully stiff. You didn't initially plan on saying a single word, but you can't help tilting your head to the side and dropping your voice so the teacher can't hear you. Is there something on my face? Then something totally unexpected happens. Katsuki's cheeks turns red. I wasn't staring, he cries out, slamming his palms on the desk and angrily turning away. He's kicking up so a fuss for some reason. All you did was ask him if there was something on your face. Status update. Bakugo Katsuki is embarrassed to have been caught staring at you. Plus 10 love points. Current progress, minus 100 over 100. What? Do your eyes deceive you? Or are your points with Katsuki just gone up for the very first time? Not that you're complaining about it, but it's kind of weird. He looks all huffy and annoyed, but his points have changed for the better rather than for the worst. This guy really is a major pain to deal with. You're probably better off not trying to understand him. By the time the lunch bell chimes, you're just relieved to be free for Katsuki's stilting presence. The first thing you do is rush over to Izuku's desk and breaking out into a grin. It's actually kind of incredible how quickly your spirits lift now that you're by his side. Hi, Athena, he greets shyly. I know you said you were going to be in starting class here soon, but I wasn't expecting it to be today. I wanted to be a surprise, you hume. A good one, I hope. Of course! I'm so happy you're here. As always, he's a lovable ball of sunshine, awkward mannerisms and all. You're also glad your initiation only appears to have impacted personal memories and not general knowledge. You're comfortable with most of the class content. Far from being perfect, but based on how you feel so far, you imagine you probably used to be a pretty decent student. Anyways, you're getting pretty hungry. If you wait much longer, your stomach will start making all sort of questionable sounds. Let's go, you gesture to Izuku. You can show me what's good in the cafeteria. Eager to get some food, but also to sit down and finally have a chance to talk with him today, you start to leave the classroom, only to find that Katsuki and his underlings are blocking your way. Kachan, Izuku nervously stammers out. Um, can we please get past? You have to fight back the urge to aggressively roll your eyes. Lets you risk angering Katsuki off even more. Seriously, what is his deal? Does he ever get tired of this? Because you sure as hell are. It feels like a whole bunch of wasted time and effort. Is he so insecure that treating others like dirt actually makes him feel like better about himself? Katsuki just juts his chin in your direction. Why is the freak here? Who's she anyways? I see you two already become best buddies. Since when does anyone want to be friends with you? Don't call her that! Izuku swallows. Call her what? Katsuki chuckles. A freak? It's not my fault is that what she is. Izuku's trembling slightly, but still managed to clench his fist. She isn't, he says, mustering up the nerve to look at Katsuki dead in the eye. We just want to eat. Let us go through, okay? It only takes a second for Katsuki irritation to turn on to rage. Since when do I take orders from you? He glowers. Don't tell me what to say. Don't tell me what to do. And stop looking at me with those disgusting wimping eyes of yours. God damn it! Both of you get on my nerves. As much as you want to get angry at Katsuki for the way that he's treating you and your friend, somehow you just can't. Not entirely, at least. You aren't exactly sure why, but a part of you feels sorry for him. Something keeps tugging at your heartstring and telling you that despite the bravado he likes to maintain, underneath it all lies a deeply troubled teenage boy. But since you don't want him to mistake your pity for ridicule, you force your expression to remain as neutral as possible. Sorry for being a freak, is all you say. Then you grab Izuku by the hand. We're gonna go now. I hope you have a nice lunch. You pull Izuku along without wanting to hear what Katsuki says in return. He isn't coming after you, at the very least, and his love points haven't dropped either. For the time being, that will be suffice. As Izuku stumbles to keep up with the brisk pace, you can feel his grip on your hand tightening. When you look back, his expression is rife with dejection. Status update. Midoriya Izuku wishes he could have done a better job of standing up for you. Minus 10 love points. Current progress 80 over 200. I'm sorry, he breathes, gunning off his bottom lip. Kachan's always had a bad temper, but you're my friend and I shouldn't have let him talk to you that way. If only I wasn't such a weakling. It seems that a lot of Izuku's issues stems from a lack of self-esteem, which you presume has to do with the fact that he's quirkless. But you don't see it that way. Sure, maybe Katsuki is physically stronger than him, for as far as you're concerned, those who go around tormenting others for fun are the real weaklings. Anyone can be cruel. It takes discipline and strength to be a good person. You stop walking to face him properly, offering a gentle smile. But you still stood up to him. Just the fact that you point out his words were wrong is already more than enough. It's not like I expected you to get violent on him. I wouldn't even want that. You're a nice guy, Izuku. Just keep doing what you're doing. Kindness is something worth taking pride in. Although he hastens to return your smile, his low points don't go back up. It appears that his lack of confidence won't be quite so easy to fix. You're about to give up soon, though. You'll keep encouraging him to value himself as long as it takes. Because he deserves it. That's so cute. Hello, I'm Ketsu. And I'm Tama. Together we are... They pose for a dramatic effect, doing jazz hands and everything. Your fake parents! Hooray! Those names are absolutely ridiculous. You can't believe this is actually happening. Is anyone actually going to buy this thing? Why couldn't they at least pick more believable names? Ah, Jess. King. Oh my god, the surname witches. The last name, sorry. So our last name is King because of course. So it's King Katsu. Okay. Ah, yes. King Katsu, the man humes, looking rather pleased for their general humor. It certainly got a nice ring to it. Anyways, where's the person we spoke with online? The one who wired us the money and gave us all of the documents. Considering the system isn't an actual person, they're in real for Rude Awakening. Actually, what are you even supposed to do right now? Two adult strangers right inside of your house. To say that you're wildly uncomfortable would still be an understatement. Tell them that you have a wealthy benefactor, that you can't go into any details. They're only in it for the money after all. So long as they keep receiving a steady stream of income, they'll do their jobs. They're low-grade criminals, to be honest. Overall, petty crimes, but they still wouldn't want to risk crossing us and ending up in jail. These are criminals in your house? The situation is literally getting worse by the second. You clear your throat, making sure to make several steps backwards. I have a benefactor that provides me with spending money, but they can't be here today. They prefer to remain anonymous. They want me to meet you guys and make sure you understand all the rules and stuff. Is there anything that you need me to clarify? Oh, look at her. Tama giggles. She's such a little cutie. Oh, right, you're supposed to be our daughter now. So I should act the part. Come here and give mommy a big hug. I'd rather not. You start to protest. But it's too late, because she's already grabbed you in her arms and pulled you up against her. I can't believe this is my life. The two fuss over you a little while before eventually going over some of the things that are expected from them. For instance, in the event that any teachers from school start to feel suspicious and decides to pay you a home visit, they're obligated to make a trip over to your house and put a convincing performance. Although considering the stupid names they've chosen and their overall go with the flow demeanor, you have some serious doubts. 𝐇𝐄𝐀 and 𝐊𝐄𝐄 start blabbering about something or another, mostly talking about amongst each other, so you take advantage of the moment to slip away towards the corner of the room. Are you sure this is okay? You whisper. They seem really irresponsible. I'm not convinced that they'll be able to fool anyone. Believe it or not, most people wouldn't be willing to go along with such an elaborate scheme. We have to take what we can get. And like I said, I have some dirt on them, so they can have no choice but do their jobs properly, if they don't want to end up in trouble. It seems that you like to threaten everyone. You mumble under your breath. What was that? Nothing. Based on the first impression alone, those two don't really take themselves too seriously. They aren't giving you a dangerous vibe at the very least. They seem friendly enough, especially if money is involved. You just hope that they can pull this off. Honestly though, the main thing that makes you uncomfortable, and that's including the fact that they're technically criminals, is how much lonelier they make you feel. They're fake parents, at the end of the day. Whatever happened to your real family, wherever they might be right now, they can't be replaced so superficially. The longer you stare at 𝐇𝐄𝐀 and 𝐊𝐿, the more you seem to ring it true. Perhaps the thought of your family triggers something in you, because all of a sudden, your head begins to throb like crazy. Ugh, you grimace, falling to your knees. It it hurts. What's wrong? Katsu frowns. He and 𝐊𝐿 both rush towards you. Are you in pain? You are in pain. Far too much pain to be able to muster up a response for that matter. All you can do is grit your teeth and endure, the way you always do when something is wrong. You will yourself not to let any tears slip. You want to be stronger. In that moment, you see something, or rather, you remember it. No, I don't want to. Oh, I know, honey. I know it tastes bad, but you have to drink it. It'll help you feel better. The images in your mind's eyes are blurry and difficult to make sense. But just for a split second, you're able to see clearly. In your memory, a woman is staring down at you. Even though you can't see it yourself, you're certain that her gaze is locked into yours. She has a warm yet sad smile, coupled with kind eyes that look incredible weird. She reaches out a hand, and you presume he's probably using that same hand to pat on your head. You're such a good girl. Thank you for being so strong. That's the end of the memory. It's been cut awfully short, but despite its brevity, it still reveals a very crucial bit of information. The woman you saw is your mother. There's no doubt in your mind. You finally know what you envision when you think of your family. Oh no, 𝐊𝐿 mumbles worriedly. The poor thing is crying. Again? You didn't even realize the tears you've been holding in the heap spill over. This time, however, it really is out of your control. You overcome with emotion and haven't recovered one of your memories for the very first time. I'm okay, you insist, lighting patting your face. You stop crying quickly enough, and a smile rises to your lips. You're happy. Now that you know what your mother looks like, you are truly happy. Ketsu and Tom exchanges two obvious glances. Well, if you say so, but we're already here, so if you need to get something off your chest, we'll listen, alright? You chuckle softly. Actually, maybe you were too quick to judge. These two really don't seem that bad. Oh, when you wake up next to him in the middle of the night with a head. When you wake up the next morning, it's safe to say that you nearly have a heart attack. Daily task. Kiss one of your love interests. Huh? You blink. Uh, am I reading this right? Nah, there's no way. This has to be some sort of prank. Heavy silence fills the room. Please tell me it's a prank. You whine. The system's next notification sounds utterly gleeful. Well, there you have it. You've been hoping for a non-athletic task for a while now. It looks like you finally got what you wished for. You let out a sudden breath. Suddenly chin-ups are sounding a whole lot better. Oh my gosh, we have to kiss someone. And our options are Izuku, Katsuki, and Shoto. Oh no, we're fucked. We're screwed. Whee! Let's continue. Vote. Chapter 8. First kiss. I can't just kiss one of them, you protest. They barely even know me yet. Well, it's ultimately your call, but you know that refusing to complete a daily task counts as being uncooperative. I shouldn't have to spell the rest out for you. Great. Just great. You're being threatened once again. Sure, having to work out the very day gets a bit tedious at times, but you would easily take physical exertion over initiating a kiss with someone. It's just way too soon. They don't even have romantic feelings for you yet, and you're expected to pull something like that off? Not to mention that the thought of going around kissing people downright mortifies you. Since you have practically no memories, you have no way of knowing if you ever kissed someone before. In all likelihood, you probably haven't. And on top of how nervous you feel, imagining how the other people will react, your face is also burning up from embarrassment. You press your palms against your scalding cheeks. Does it have to be on the lips? No. A forehead or cheek kiss will count too. That makes the whole thing a lot easier, right? Hardly. But you suppose you'll take any silver lining you can get. A kiss on the cheek is manageable at least, even though your stomach is clenched uncomfortably tight, and it feels as though butterflies are fluttering around inside. You try to convince yourself that you can pull this off. Probably. Hopefully. Ugh, you don't even want to think anymore. As you walk to school, you contemplate your options. Based on the sound of things, there are probably more love interests that you have to meet yet. But so far, you only have three. Izuku, Katsuki, and Shoto. Katsuki is obviously out of the question, so that leaves the other two. Between Izuku and Shoto, you feel like you have the best chance at kissing Izuku. It's a struggle to get a hold of Shoto on a good day. Even when you do, he hardly bothers to carry a conversation with you. Your low points have been complete static since the day you met at the mall. Given his stoic demeanor, it's probably possible that he wouldn't even be fazed if you kiss him, but you don't want to risk ruining things. Out of everyone you've met so far, Izuku is the best option. He's kind and understanding. Granted, he gets embarrassed extremely easily, but you hope that a kiss on the cheek won't be enough to upset him. You want to believe that your friendship can survive a bit of awkwardness. With these dizzy thoughts running through your mind, classes seem to drag on and on. It feels like time is moving in slow motion. You also aren't thinking about being subtle about your apprehensions because you keep on glancing seriously towards Izuku every few minutes. Thankfully, he doesn't look skeptical. He just blushes and flashes you a timid little smile every time your eyes meet. There is someone, however, who does take notice. To him, It's woefully apparent that something is going between you and Izuku. For someone who wants to for someone to tell everyone to mind their own business, he's not doing it. Katsuki frowns. He can't seem to understand what your deal is. Why do you keep making googly eyes at Deku, of all people? It's starting to leave a bad taste in his mouth. No one has ever cared about that stupid nerd before. He can help but think that you're not all there in your head. Your standards must be so low he actually almost feels bad for you. Katsuki doesn't realize this himself, but ever since the day you got in his way and protected Izuku, he's been letting his thoughts dwell on you for a lot longer than he liked. Hey, stupid girl, he mutters, lightly nudging you with his foot. Could you be any less obvious about creeping on that loser Deku? You're embarrassing yourself. He wasn't expecting you to react so strongly as you do. Creeping? He spluttered. I wasn't doing anything like that. I'm acting normal. You're the weird one. Katsuki gapes at you. He also wasn't expecting you to be such a good of a liar. Do you have any idea how flustered you look right now? Which can only mean that he's right. You're embarrassed to have been caught on staring at Izuku so often. Does that mean that you have considered him more than just a friend? For some reason, the thought of Izuku having someone who admires him really gets under Katsuki's skin. Status update. Bakugo Katsuki feels irritated. Plus 10 love points. Current progress. Minus 90 over 100. Your shoulder tenses up. Huh? It happens again. His points randomly went up even though I didn't do anything positive. Also, isn't he always irritated? I feel like he exists in perpetual state of annoyance. As always, you have no answers when it comes to this guy. You're not about to complain though. So long as the points increase, the system shouldn't get upset with you. Right now, you have a bigger issue anyway, aka figuring out how you're supposed to kill Izuku and get away with it. By the time lunch rolls around, you manage to get so worked up that it's difficult to breathe. You haven't even done anything yet, and you already feel like you're about to pass out from embarrassment. Izuku will be okay with it, right? He won't think you're a total weirdo for doing something like this. Ugh. No matter how much you want to try to reason with yourself, it still doesn't make you feel any less uncomfortable about what you're going to do. You finally manage to walk over to Izuku's desk, so stiffy that one might think you have a concrete slab for legs. Izuku, you stammer. Can we? I mean, is it okay if we eat outside today? He grins quietly, completely unaware. Sure, it's a pretty nice day, isn't it? Eating under the sun is a nice change of pace. Goodness, he's so bright! Almost blindingly so. All the more reason for you to feel nervous about what you have planned. You don't have much of an appetite on account of how agitated you are. The most you can do is pick at your food and offer a weak smile every so often as you listen to Izuku ramble on about the latest hero exploits he heard on the news. I have to do it somehow. What excuse will I make? Will he believe me if I say I have the habit of platonically kissing my friends? Honestly, it doesn't sound too believable, and you feel even more guilty about making up the lie that you tried and downplay this whole thing. I can tell that you're hesitating. Come on, it's not a big deal. Just a little kiss on the cheek. There are people in the world that endure all sorts of hardship. Don't you think you're making a fuss over nothing? You grit your teeth. They are a really major scumbag. It's true all of the sort of people suffer, most often the ones who deserve it at least, but that doesn't suddenly make your problems not existent. You're allowed to have morals and grievances, and every fiber, and every fiber of your being is telling you that you're uncomfortable with initiating something like this out of the blue, even if it's done out of self-preservation. That's why, despite how afraid you are of being tormented again, you still can't work up the nerve to kiss Izuku. It just feels wrong. You don't want to upset him. You don't want to make your friend uncomfortable, purely because you're scared to face the consequences. And just like that, lunchtime comes to an end. I need to go to the bathroom, you blurt out. It's a lie, of course, but you want to get out of here as quickly as possible. You don't even have the courage to face him anymore. All of this driving you absolutely insane. Is Shoto still an option? Do I have a chance to actually completing this task? You can feel your fingers trembling to construct the text message. Athena. Hi, Shoto. I hope you're having a good day so far. Where are you up right now? Shoto. I'm at school. Athena. Same! Just finished eating lunch. Are your classes difficult? What's your favorite subject, by the way? Sin. He left you on read again. As expected, it's a hopeless pursuit. You're nowhere near close enough to invite him to hang out the way you did with Izuku, and since you need to complete this task before tomorrow, time isn't exactly on your side. You chickened out earlier. Are you really going to keep up over something like this? I won't complain, but just know that what I have planned for you won't be pretty. Shut up! You exclaim, rasping at the roots of your hair in frustration. Just leave me alone! I'm trying to figure this out. What the? Now you're even talking to yourself? You really do have a screw loose. You turn to find Katsuki looking at you with a mixture of contempt and disbelief. You made up an excuse to run away from Izuku because you were embarrassed, and considering there is no one else around right now, he probably thinks you're having a full-blown conversation with yourself, which obviously isn't doing your image in any favors. You bite your lip. I was, uh, I was trying to, forget it. I don't even know what to say anymore. But simply, you're tired. Sick and tired of being ordered around and being forced to do things you don't want to. All the while not even knowing what kind of person you are. There are moments when you feel confident in these things that you're saying, but other times you have no clue if they're even reflective of your true personality. All of this just sucks. Stupid system, stupid amnesia. You feel like giving the middle finger to the universe itself. Katsuki narrows his eyes. Did you and Deku have a fight or something? You're acting even creepier than usual, which is saying something. Why would we fight? It's nothing, I'm just tired. It's the truth, after all. Besides, you have no reason, nor any desire, to get into details with someone like Katsuki. Don't tell me you like him, Katsuki mutters coldly. That would be really sad. I'd actually feel bad for you. He's my friend, you blink. Of course I like him. I didn't mean it like a jeez. You really are an idiot. He sighs. He wisely runs a hand through his spiky hair, then rolls his eyes. Whatever. Just so you know, I really fed up with you. You keep on gawking at Deku like he's the biggest thing you've ever seen. Maybe you need to get your eyes checked. You feel your brow twitch. Now really isn't the time for this nonsense. Your mental state is already stained enough as it is. You certainly don't need to be dealing with one of these guy's antics on top of everything else. Izuku is a good person, you say. Unfortunately, you don't manage to stop yourself from saying the next words. Are you jealous because you're a douchebag and he's not? Oh my god. Katsuki eyes blows wide open. What did you say to me? Why would I ever be jealous of a loser like him? He grabs you by the collar of your uniform before you can even blink. Once again, you're forced to stare into his deep crimson eyes, feeling the heat of his breath against your skin. Students aren't supposed to use their quirk at school, but you somehow doubt that that'll stop him. I'm sorry, you grimace, trying to push him away. I didn't mean it. I'm just tired, okay? Please let me go. I need some time to cool my head. If you could just let go. You push, and Katsuki pulls. Unfortunately, all this jerking around causes you to lose your footing, and in the process of stumbling forward, your legs get tangled up with this. Oh no, I know where this is going. Before either of you realize it, you both hit the ground. Your mouth hurts. Actually, to be more specific, your lips hurts. And it so happens you've fallen right on top of him, and your lips have inadvertently smashed into each other. It takes a few moments to let that sink in. Your eyes are wide as you stare at each other, disbelief and horror gradually overtaking both of your expressions. Daily task complete. You have received a fancy pen. Your reward for accidentally kissing someone is nothing more than a messy pen. But you don't even have to think about that right now. The present situation is too dire to ignore. I, I'm so sorry. I'm sorry. You breathe, slowly tearing your face away. Your lips feel swollen and are stinging slightly. When you look closer, you realize that Katsuki's lips are not better off. Your mouth collided so forcefully that you both slipped the surface of your skin. You suppose you should thank your lucky stars that you didn't chip your teeth. It's also worth nothing that Katsuki's face is unbelievably red. At this point, the shade is neatly a perfect match for his crimson eyes. For a while, he appears to be just as dumbstruck as you are. But when the realization hits, and it hits hard, he doesn't hesitate to erupt. Get the hell off me! He screams. He pushes you back as hard as he can. And unsurprisingly, you're knocked off flat on your butt. You shouldn't have expected anything less, really. Your unluckiness is a quirk on itself. You rise to your feet, albeit on shaky legs. Katsuki does the same. And once you're both standing, you proceed to just stare at each other without uttering a single word. This is so awkward. I'd rather he just hurry up and get over the part where he lashes out at me. That doesn't happen, though. Rather than reacting with violence, Katsuki makes it a point to be as loud as humanly possible. You're crazy! He grits out. He cries out. His index finger is awfully shaking as it points at you. Do you think you've won just because I got a caught off guard? I wasn't expecting something like that to happen, so that's why I He appears to be lost of words. Honestly, you can't blame him. And you feel a bit sorry for him too. None of this was intentional, but regardless, it was a disastrous way to share a kiss. Your puffy lips are more than proof of it. Anyway, pointless crap like that doesn't matter to me, Katsuki insists, although his violet red cheeks aren't all that convincing. One way or another, you complete your daily task, which means that you will be spared. But at the same time, you know that for a fact that Katsuki's love points will plummet after this interaction, and that will upset the system regardless. Basically, no matter how you slice it, you're screwed. At least that was what you thought. Status update. Bakugo Katsuki realizes he just had his first kiss, plus 50 love points. Current progress, minus 40 over 100. Uh, how? Don't you dare go around telling people what happened, Katsuki fumes. I'm seriously make you regret if you do. I'll say it again. This is nothing to me, alright? If anything, you should feel lucky that you got so close to me. I'm sure as hell won't happen again. He's raging at you without a pause, but his points have yet to drop by a single interval. You're slowly starting to piece it together that a lot of things that Katsuki says are actually way different from the way he truly thinks. As embarrassing as all of this is, though, perhaps it's better this way. Better to have killed someone by accident rather than to willingly do it and feel guilty after the fact. You can hear Katsuki literally stomping as he walks away. His back is turned towards you, so you can't see his face, but you are able to see the tip of his ears, and they show no signs of getting any less red. Good job, you actually did it. Even if it was by mistake, it still counts. Oh, bite me, you snap. Uh, we just kissed. Katsuki feels like his stupid heart is about to explode. He's always prided himself of not caring about what other things or do. Izuku was the glaring exception, since pretty much everything about him got under Katsuki's skin. But otherwise, he's always thought of the people surrounding him as nothing more than extras. He's the main character, whereas they're stuck playing background roles that no one will remember. Because Katsuki is obsessed with victory and being number one at everything. He always believed that there was nothing anyone could do to make him feel overwhelmed or otherwise inferior. Naturally, this means that it was almost impossible to embarrass him at either. Until now, at least. As much as he tries to keep telling himself that it was nothing more than a stupid accident, he can't get the image of your lips out of his mind. And when he realizes those same lips were briefly pressed against his, he feels his entire body get uncomfortably hot, to the point that he feels like he's practically boiling. For the remainder of class that day, Katsuki's face as red as can be. Not only that, but his leg is shaking uncontrollably, and he can keep from clenching his fist. All of this is so confusing, not to mention overwhelming. What the hell is this feeling? He hates it. He wishes it would hurry up and be over with. This is so dumb. Why should I be bothered with? Why should it bother him? He couldn't care less about a stupid girl like you. He keeps on trying to convince himself that's the case, but because the tightness in his chest and the heat of his cheeks isn't going down at all, it only managed to irritate him even more. Regretful Katsuki is completely unaware of the fact that you can see his emotional turmoil playing as they. Bakugo Katsuki is thinking about the kiss with you, plus 20 love points, minus 10 love points. That bipolar bitch. You scratch your head. His points just keep fluctuating up and down, and the fact that his desk is right next to yours makes the whole thing endlessly more uncomfortable. Poor guy. It must be hell inside his mind. What the heck? Oh god. That's so stupid. I love it. Chapter 9. Enemy's status. What? You thrill your newest pen between your fingers and let out a listless sigh. You still can't believe that this is the reward you got for that mortifying accidental collision with Katsuki. It's almost like you're being pranked or something. That pen's pretty nice, isn't it? You roll your eyes so hard, it's a miracle they don't fall out. Yeah, right. I thought they said there would be better rewards for clearing tasks of higher difficulty. Either the system has been lying to you, which is nothing new, really, or that means that there will be tasks in the future that will be way harder than one you just completed. You don't want to even try and imagine what they could possibly be. You have enough on your plate as it is. Since you don't have a school today, how about you start training? Remember, your goal is to get into UA, so you'll need to develop some skills. You'll keep on gaining skill points as you rank up with your targets, but you can solely rely on those. You need to build up some fighting progress on your own. That thing on your own. How am I supposed to fight? You frown. I don't technically have work. Am I just supposed to punch and kick? Will that be enough for me to become a hero? If you had superhuman strength like All Might, sure, but you aren't strong enough to get away with a hand-to-hand combat. Not yet, at least. You have plenty of room to grow. There's no telling how strong you'll get. For the time being, I think the best if you stuck to using weapons. That doesn't sound much better, because you obviously can't remember having ever used a weapon before. Perhaps you actually have, but you simply lost your memories of it. There is such a thing as muscle memory, so even if your amnesia is impeding from recollection of things, maybe your skills will come back to you once you actually pick up a weapon. You're kind of hoping that's the case, because you get the feeling that becoming a weapon expert will take a lot of hard work. Are you wondering if you might have used weapons before? You blink rapidly. Uh, you can't also read my mind, can you? Of course not. That would be highly unethical. Huh? Like that's ever stopped you before. Then again, they probably would have done plenty more horrible things if they could see your innermost thoughts. You also wouldn't be able to curse them in your head like you're doing right now. By now, the list of things you secretly call them goes on for long. You've pretty much lost track. Well, I'm sorry to burst your bubble, but you're going to be an absolutely beginner. You've done never anything like this before. How do you know that? You challenge. Honestly, how much of my life are you keeping from me? I've already said I'd do what you want, but can't you tell me a bit about myself? Please. I won't ask much. I just want to remember who I am. It's difficult to explain, but I have a way of assessing your physical condition and knowing what sorts of skills you have. Fighting with weapons isn't one of them, so that's why we need to start working on it while you still got some time before the UA entrance exam. It's always so hard to get a straight answer. They're hiding more things than you can probably ever count. Even if you do exactly as they demand, there's really no guarantee you'll be able to recover your memories. So far, you've only seen a brief snippet, the one of your mother, and it feels like you recall it naturally, not through the system's help. But maybe that's for the best. With enough time, it's possible that all kinds of things will trigger your memory and help you remember. And once you do, perhaps you'll also find the key to getting rid of the system once and for all. Yeah, it's a really, really good thing they can't read your thoughts. Fine, you said, pressing your lips into a thin line. Let's say, for the sake of the argument, that I believe you. So, how do I start training? Where would I even find weapons to use? Well, that's a silly question. You're going to grab the weapons yourself, of course. Here, let's start with something simple. Craft beginner level baton. Yes. Is the beginner level part of the is the beginner level part really necessary? Well, whatever. I guess a baton isn't too difficult to use. A baton. A baton. As always, you feel fatigue crash over you once you grab the item. But it isn't quite as intense as the previous instances. Maybe because up until now you've been creating furniture for that was a lot larger? Perhaps the size and intricacy of the object are proportionate to the energy required. Or maybe your body is slowly getting used to all of this. How do you feel? How do you feel? Do you think you have it in you to craft a second object? I guess so, you nod. But why would I need to craft a second one? You're not gonna make me train with with two weapons at the same time, right? Instead of answering you, they create another pop-up. Craft 𝐇𝐄𝐀𝐑𝐄𝐊𝐄𝐑 training dummy. Yes. What? Uh, you don't really know what to expect until you make the selection and the training dummy pops up in front of you. One that looks suspiciously similar to 𝐇𝐄𝐀𝐑𝐄𝐊. You assume it's been fashioned in his likeness. It's kind of cute, but also kind of terrifying at the same time. I thought you would like to pretend you're like beating him up. I figured it would give you a motivation boost. Well, they aren't entirely wrong about that. You poke the training dummy, which boops slightly into place, and it were which which bobs slightly in place. If it were the real 𝐇𝐄𝐀, he would have probably gone feral by now. The baton you just crafted is nestling on your other hand, and you grip it tighter, allowing you to familiarize yourself and with the feel of it. Then, without even needing to be told anything, you use the baton to walk the 𝐇𝐄𝐀 dummy across its artificial face. You stupid jerk! You cried out. You think I wanted any of this? Of course not! So, what the hell are you getting mad at me for? And why are you so horrible to Izuku? Your personality sucks! This continues for quite longer, and by the end of your stress relieving session, you're flushed in the face and panting heavily. The system seems to be clearly to waiting. Wow, that was a lot of pent-up anger. Yeah, obviously. As much as you hate to admit that they're right, imagining 𝐇𝐄𝐀 right in front of you does help to does help to channel your frustration. It's awfully ironic, considering you're meant to pursue a romantic relationship with him. But so far, he hasn't given you any much reason to think favorably of him. But hopefully that will change over time. A part of you still feels like he isn't the bad guy that he lets on. Maybe. Anyways, that was okay, I guess. But I wanted to clue you in another feature you can use. It allows you to access items without needing to scroll through the entire inventory. All you need to do is clearly visualize the item you want and say equip. For now, store your baton and try to call it back. Oh, that's interesting. You do as I tell you and put the baton away. Then, instead of bringing up in the system interface to look through, you close your eyes and try to visualize the baton you just held in your hand. You try to remember exactly what it looks like and how it feels in your palm. Equip, you say, waiting for the baton to materialize in your hand. Nothing happens. uh, equip, you repeat. But yet again, the baton doesn't appear. Letting out a huff of frustration, you open your eyes. Okay, what gives? I tried doing it, but it didn't work at all. Hmm, it's probably because you're still a noob. I suppose you need to practice a bit more before being able to use this feature. What a shame. I didn't realize you were so incompetent. What? You're currently thinking of ways to fight someone who doesn't even exist. Well, you'll just have to keep practicing. Like I said, it's important to have a super clear visual of the item you want to equip. Otherwise, it won't work. The more you get used to seeing your weapons and wielding them, the more likely it is that you can unlock the equip function. It'll be very important later on, especially if you're fighting an opponent and need to switch the item you're wielding mid-battle. That certainly does sound useful. Hopefully, it won't take you too long to get the hang of it. Quite frankly, the prospect of becoming a hero still scares you. But because you know all you have to put your safety on the line, you don't exactly have a choice. The possibility of dying is certainly scary though, but if the alternative is being mentally tormented and made to feel pain too, then you'll just have to suck it up and become strong enough that no one can mess with you. In that case, you're really going to have to get serious. You comb through your inventory and retrieve the baton. Then turn towards the Katsuki dummy with a determined expression. All right, you have time for round two. That's so, that's it's so funny. I just need some water. Hold on. Let's continue. Training is hard. On top of your daily tasks, which are always physical, omitting the Katsuki incident, you know how to put in an extra time to work out and get used to wielding your weapons. It's more even tiring than you would have expected, and since it does seem like you have a natural competence for athletics task, you are struggling. You take solace on the fact that you're still a long way to go until the UA entrance exam, and you aren't the only one dreaming big. Izuku also wants to get into UA, so that he can attend the same school as All Might. At the very least, you have the system to help compensate for your weakness, but Izuku doesn't have a quirk at all, so you can only imagine how much more difficult it would be for him. It feels unfair to complain when you know how badly he wants to become a hero. Sorry. Regardless, between juggling and training and trying to get close to your love interest, on top of having virtually no memories, it's safe to say that there is a lot on your mind. Here we go. Let's see how today's attempts to turns out. Adina. Hi, Shoto. I hope you're doing well. How do you usually spend your days off from school? One of the most challenging issues you've encountered thus so far is the fact that Shoto is nearly impossible to hold a conversation with. You hope that after getting his number, you would gradually become friends with him, like you did with Izuku, but nope. It's a miracle if you ever if you ever receive a reply at all, and whatever you do, he usually ghosts you not long after. Shoto, I mostly train. He responded. Okay, now how do I keep this conversation going? Athena. Oh, cool. What sort of training you do? I actually started training recently as well. I need to get stronger so that I can get into UA. Scene. And just like that, he left you on read again. Or so you thought. Shoto. You want to go to UA? Athena. Yeah, I'm trying to become a hero. Heroes are cool, right? No, you're not saying that. I'm not strong yet, but I'm hoping that my hard work will pay off eventually. Shoto. I see. No, you don't, darling. I can't get that out of my head. I see. No, you don't, darling. Oh, sorry. Athena. Hmm. Oh, by the way, what kind of quirk do you have? Oh no, you asked the wrong question. You briefly explained to Izuku how your power works once before. Just vaguely, at least. You're supposed to pretend like the system is your quirk after all, but you didn't mention the fact that there is someone, or something, that you can regularly communicate with. You also didn't tell him about the love points, and the fact that you're supposed to win people over for obvious reasons. Wow, that's so cool! Izuku marveled at the time. So you can just create things out of thin air? That's an amazing quirk! You intentionally keep things pretty vague because you figured you would end up having to make a lot of excuses later on. But for the time being, he seems convinced that he seems convinced, and that's really the best way you could hope for. That's why you prepare to give Shoto the same answer you gave Izuku if he ends up asking about your quirk as well. But that doesn't actually end up happening, Shoto. I don't really feel like talking about it. Of course. Status update. Todoroki Shoto feels a bit irritated. Minus 10 love points. Current progress 20 over 100. Damn it! You don't even know what you could possibly have upset him, but it clears you struck some kind of nerve. He doesn't like to talk about his powers? Is he embarrassed about them somehow? Or maybe he's just sick of people asking him the same question. It's been a struggle to just get this far from Shoto, given how unsociable he is, and it's starting to feel a bit hopeless. But then again, for the longest time, you weren't able to imagine Katsuki's points going up, and yet they have. You try not you need to try not to fixate on points so much. The points are just there vaguely quantifying your relationship with people. At the end of the day, these things are more complex than simply a numerical value. Athena. My bad. I'm sorry if I was being too noisy. Well, I just wanted to check it and see how you're doing. I hope you have a very nice day. You don't expect him to respond again. But surprisingly, he does. Shut up. Okay, thanks. By the way, I'm planning on going to UA too. I guess we might see each other if you end up getting in. Wow. He he actually willingly extended the conversation. That's a first. You decided to quit while you're ahead. As much as you want to suggest meeting up and actually spending more time together in person, it's clear that's going to keep baby steps. And a lot of them for that matter. Suddenly, you hear a ping. Wait, don't go home just yet. I can sense that there's another target nearby. It might be a bit premature, but let's see how it goes. Just like when your first navigation turned around into Katsuki, they pull out a map and a direction for you to follow. You're no stranger to this game by now, although you wonder how you'll strike up with this conversation with whoever it is. Unlikely at the mall when you ran into Shoto, you weren't carrying any bags, so you can't really pretend to trip and drop your belongings this time. I guess I'll just have to turn on the charm, you say you sigh loudly. Unfortunately, you don't get to know how the sinister what? You don't Unfortunately, you don't yet know just how sinister the system's intentions are. What? Up until now, you've been under the impression that they'd only make your target normal people. People that could be construed as either good, at the very least, morally decent. Even Katsuki, who's a bully, isn't downright dangerous. But the person you're about to run into sure is. Oh my gosh. This can't seriously be broken right now. A guy grimaces angrily, kicking the vending machine he's standing in front of. I paid for my drink. I want my drink. God damn it. From where you currently are, you don't have a very clear view of his face. He has his hood pulled up anyway, and it's obscuring most of his expression. You can see that he's rather messy pale blue hair that sticks out of the hood, and an overall lanky frame. But that's about it. Oh my god. Are we actually going to meet Shigaraki? What? The system's next message seems oddly hesitant. That's him, but, uh, be careful not to say anything stupid and get on his nerve. He's got a bit of a temper. Great! Another jerk like Katsuki! You were hoping to turn into someone nice like Izuku, but you suppose that was a wishful thinking on your part. Nonetheless, you have a job to do, and you aren't about to back out without even making an effort. Hi there, you smile, slowly approaching him. Did the machine eat your coins? I have a few extra ones, so you could try adding more. I'm guessing this is going to go wrong. You dig into your wallet and proudly pull out of the coins, and then you hold out your hands towards him, expecting that he'll take them from you. He doesn't do that, though. It takes him a little while to fully turn around, and you have to do your best not to let your shoulders jolt when you finally get a good look at his face. His skin is noticeably dry, and you can't help but worry if he's in pain. He has dark red eyes that burns into yours with an intensity you didn't even know was possible. The dry skin is deceptively eggy, but if you take a proper look at his features, he probably isn't much older than you. He looks like he's a teenager around your age, maybe about a year or so older. He's also vaguely familiar, but at this point, the feeling of deja vu has become so commonplace that you aren't even questioning it anymore. What do you want? He snaps. His voice is thin and raspy. I can't. Even more so now, he's speaking at a low register. It's okay. You were prepared to be met with unfriendliness from the moment the system told you that he has a temper, so you just keep on smiling. You can have the coins, you insist. I heard you say the machine wasn't giving you your drink. Usually, if you had more coins, it'll eventually dispense what you bought. Most people would have reacted with a smile or a brave nod, some show of appreciation, at the very least. But no, no, this guy. I don't need your hands out, he scolds bitterly, turning away from you in a fell swoop. He opts to give you, but he opts to just give up on his drink altogether when he shoved past you so hard that you nearly just lose your balance. You consider calling him out, but the next notification you receive suggests it's better not to. Status update. Shimura Tenko. Error. Processing. Shigaraki Tomura isn't amused by your fake display of heroism. Minus 10 love points. Current progress. Minus 10 over 200. Huh. For a second I thought the name looked different. Was I imagining things? Shigaraki is already walking away from you, so you left standing there with your hand extended. Coins build up with the center of your palm. So far, you have to admit most of your love interests suck. Shoto isn't necessarily mean or anything, but he's a love too at fault, and you struggle to imagine him even developing feelings for you. Katsuki's a hot-headed that has a rather nasty personality, which goes without saying. And now this new guy seems like he's about to be a massive pain as well. The only person you really like so far is Izuku. Izuku's great. God, why can't more people be like him? It's okay. That could definitely have gone worse. It was an honest attempt, and I won't fault you for trying. Huh, at least. Weird. That normally that they normally don't miss any chance to berate you. Why is this sentence any different? Also, you have some questions. Perhaps the main issue was nothing more than a glitch of the system, but you're confused as to why Shigaraki's first love meter caps are higher value than the others you've encountered so far. Just go through your system interface and open up where it displays your progress with all your friends and with all your friends, with all your love interest. Izuku's my friend, you mumble aloud, and Shoto is still my acquaintance. Katsuki is my rival, and it says Shigaraki's my enemy? What's that supposed to mean? How can he be your enemy? Enemy sounds a whole lot worse than rival, and that's saying something, considering how easily Katsuki gets mad at you. Is this another glitch? You can help but ask. It says Shigaraki's my enemy, but we just literally just met. There's no way I managed to upset him that much just the thought of the first encounter, right? For some reason, no matter how hard you press the issue, the system refuses to respond. Ooh. 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 Oh my gosh, I think we're 10, 11. Oh, I think we're going to finish. Oh no. Oh well. Chapter 10. Tenderness. Status update. Baku Katsuki is thinking about the his kiss with you. Plus 20 love points. Minus 10 love points. Plus 10 love points. Current progress 0 out of 100. Haha, yay! This again? You stare at your reflection with weary eyes, a toothbrush poking out from between your lips. You spit into the sink, rinse your mouth out, and pat your cheeks to try and enjoy yourself awake. You're still in the middle of your morning preparation, so you aren't exactly in the mood to deal with Katsuki's conflicted thoughts. At least you're finally back to square one. Your points had long since dropped into the negative with him. Quite frankly, you weren't sure if you'd ever manage to dig the way out of that hole. You're doing great. I bet he'll fall for you in no time. Aha! You mutter, entirely unconvinced. Just because he's a bit flustered over the kiss doesn't mean that he likes you all of a sudden. Honestly, you don't really know how you're supposed to win Katsuki over while also being friends with Izuku, but you decide it's better not to fixate on details. You'll just have to keep on being nice and charming person that must be the kind of person you always were, even before you lost your memories. Well, hopefully at least. Athena! Hey, good morning. Yeah. Izuka is there to greet you when you get to class. Seeing him smile is a good distraction, especially since you can't seem to get that Shigaraki guy out of your head. You really don't understand why he's marked as enemy, but you get the sense that it doesn't bode well. Izuku, you smile back. Good morning. Get out of my way, moron. You're abruptly shoved, balance being thrown off just enough so that you end up tripping over your own feet and slamming your hip into one of the desks. The impact makes your entire body rattle, and you wince quietly, swallowing the discomfort. To no one's surprise, Katsuki is the one who shoved you. Kakachan, Izuku stammers. You shouldn't do that. Athena looks like he's hurt. He proceeds to fuss over you and ask if you're okay. You collect quickly as yourself as possible, not wanting to come across as someone dramatic. Even Katsuki looks surprised at his light shove ended with you stumbling forward so many steps. You don't feel like anywhere near as coordinated as a hero probably should be. Katsuki frowns, anger seemingly much more subdued than usual. What? Seriously? I barely even touched her. Is she really that clumsy? I mean, he immediately stops himself. And it doesn't take a genius to figure out which embarrassing incident he's thinking of. I'm fine, you reassure, throwing on a quick smile for good measure. And, good morning, Katsuki. I hope your day is going well so far. He gives you a wide-eyed look, clearly taken aback by your reaction. You notice that his gaze eventually drips down a bit, and all in all, he's blushing. Bakugo Katsuki can't stop staring at your lips. Plus 10 love points. Current progress 10 over 100. Shut up! He immediately snaps, turning away from you in a hurry. Why are you acting like we're close for? Damn stalker. You chuckle under your breath. He's so bad at being honest. It's actually kind of hilarious. Also, while these instant updates are certainly useful as far from knowing where you stand with your love interests, knowing that people are staring at your lips definitely makes you feel embarrassed. Katsuki stumps over his desk, sits down, then crosses his arms, and makes such a sour expression that you wouldn't thought he's lost his pet or something. Meanwhile, Izuku's still fretting incessantly. Are you sure you're okay? He insists. You can be honest. Kachan doesn't know how to hold back. Even when he's not trying to pick up a fight, he's really strong, so he just assumes everyone else can handle most of things the way he does. You nod. I'm alright, Izuku, but thank you for worrying. I'm tougher than I look. Oh, okay, if you say so. Once again, his expression is a downcast. He seems frustrated by his helplessness, even though someone else's actions are pretty much out of his control. He can't very well make Katsuki behave in a certain way. The most any one person can do is manage their own behavior. Please don't be sad, you insist, reaching out and squeezing his hand. I promise I'm okay. I'm happy just being around you, Izuku. It isn't your fault Katsuki can be rude at times. I guess not, he blushes. I just wish I could do more for you. You've been really a great friend to me, so I can't help but want to do the same. You already have. I'm being honest when I say this. You're by far my favorite person to be around. Oh, as always, Katsuki, why am I always treating him? As always, Izuku still seems to be a touch uncertain, seem touched uncertain, but your words probably help to reassure him somewhat. His blush deepens, and he seems to even manage to hastily nods with his head a few times. Why can't I read right now? Midoriya Izuku is going to do his best to support you. Plus 20 love points. Current progress 100 over 200. You push through your morning classes with visible sluggishness, only half paying attention to what's being taught. You're tired. You're tired on a good day. But even more so ever since you started training with the items you've been crafting. Lacking any sort of natural talent is a much steeper learning curve than you anticipated. Your head collapses against the table more times than you can count, and the teacher has to yell to wake you up. Athena, what do you think you're doing? Several of your classmates can't help but chuckle, probably because you lifted up your head with a dazed expression. Rules leak against your chin. Thanks for the fact that you're friends with Izuku, something that's apparently unprecedented, you seem to be steadily building a reputation for yourself, and not really a good one. I guess this is the effect being quirkless has. People look down on Izuku for something that's completely out of his control. It really sucks. You wipe your hand across your mouth, mumbling an apology. Sorry, I've been tired lately. Just don't let it happen again, the teacher huffs. Needless to say, it does happen again, and you earn yourself detention for the day. Feeling rather hard, even though school is officially out, you exchange goodbyes with Izuku. Then you collect your belongings and prepare to rush over the principal's office. Katsuki grabs you by the wrist and pulls you aside before you get far. Come here. Come here, he grits out. I need to talk about blah, blah, blah. I need to talk I need to talk to you about something. I have detention. You try to protest. The teachers say I have to go to organize books in the principal's office. I think I'll get in a lot of trouble if I'm not there in time. Unsurprisingly, Katsuki doesn't care about your problems, and he drags you through the hallway until he reaches a quiet space, free of prying eyes. After staring at you in silence for much longer than you would like, he eventually grits his teeth. What happened with what happened between us was not a kiss, he insists, voice trembling slightly as he speaks. You blink repeatedly. This dude brought me all the way here just for this. I'm going to get extra detention at this rate. Katsuki seems determined to try and wipe the incident from his mind, but based on all the system updates you've been getting, it doesn't seem like he's having having such success so far. The fact that you kiss is one of the only things that help him think somewhat positively about you. If he managed to convince himself that it didn't count, then you're screwed. Feeling hot in the face, you give him a hesitant look. I mean, it kind of was, though. I know it was an accident, but... Sorry. Sure. Bless you. I know it was an accident, but our lips touch. I'm pretty sure it still counts as a kiss. What the? Katsuki entirely body tenses up. It's just like he's red, and just like that, he's red as a tomato again. Despite being polar opposites, this is the one thing he and Izuku have in common. They're both serial blushers. What the hell is the matter with you? I'm telling you that it wasn't a kiss, so it wasn't, okay? You shrug. If you say so. But ask anyone else, and they said it was. Ask anyone else? A humiliating theory seems to dawn at him, and he lets out a horrified gasp. You didn't. He choked out. I told you what would happen if you went around running out your mouth. No, I haven't told anyone, you reassure. I'm just saying, if I had, then I'm pretty sure they will be on an unanimous agreement. I get that it was a kind of awkward accident, but do you really hate me? Do you really hate the thought of kissing me that much? You're trying to bait an honest response out of him for a change. No matter how confusing his thoughts are, based on the fact that that your love points keep rising, it's clear that he doesn't actually dislike the kiss. Still, getting him to admit that will probably be almost impossible. Of course I do, Katsuki exclaims, doing a very unconvincing job of lying. Who would want to be kissed by a creep stalker like you? Status update. Ever since the kiss, Bakugo Katsuki has started to think that you're quite pretty. Plus 10 love points. You bite back a chuckle, but Katsuki seems to pick up on quickly enough. What are you giggling about? He challenges. Is this a joke to you? Um, no, not at all. What the hell that for? Katsuki clenches his fist looking like he's about to start making threats, so you decided you'll try one last thing before leaving at that. Even though you feel a little self-conscious about what the approach you're taking, you realize that flustering Katsuki is one of the best ways to to make a lasting impact. Katsuki, you say, awkwardly clasping your hands together. Um, Even if it was an accident, I am really sorry about the kiss. Regardless of whether you count it, I get that it was probably a lot to take in, but I'm personally not at all that upset you were the person I ended up kissing. You're really good looking after all. By any chance, do you think I'm good looking too? Oh, wait, you just asked that. You admitted being really shameless, but with someone like him, a direct approach is probably the most effective one. It barely takes a second. Katsuki's crimson eyes blow wide open. Bakugo Katsuki is secretly pleased that you think he's good looking. Plus 20 love points. Current progress 40 out of 100. With that, you'd officially made more progress with Katsuki than with Shoto, something that you could never have expected. Granted, Katsuki's mood is all over the place, and there's no telling when he'll get annoyed or his points will drop, but it's the furthest you've ever gotten, and you decide to take pride in that fact. Katsuki seems to be struggling to form his words, but whatever they are, undoubtedly very flattering. Good looking? He grimaces. Who? You? Yeah, right. You wish, ugly girl. You're so ugly I can feel my eyes burning. As always, he's just talking nonsense. Perhaps other people would have been offended, but since you know his true thoughts, it doesn't so much faze you. Sure, you grin. Whatever you say. What the hell's the matter with you? Why are you smiling after being called ugly? God, you're really out of your mind. He shoves his hands in his pockets, storms out without a moment notice. Things are actually going pretty well. You never thought you'd end up being somewhat thankful of the stupid daily task you once cursed. Feeling awfully giddy, you nearly forgotten that you're meant to be in dictation right now. I'm so screwed. The next day, you receive a message that catches you completely off guard. Shoto, are you free right now? I was thinking we could meet up. You're always asking that, after all. We're going out with him. Is this real life? Out of nowhere, Shoto himself is initiating a meetup. You've been doing the best to hold a conversation with him over text, and even that's a challenge. So it's safe to say that you didn't expect this at all. Naturally, you're going to capitalize this opportunity as much as you can. Athena. Yes, of course. I'd love to. Where would we meet? I'm starting. I'll start getting ready so that I can. So that I can leave right away. Shiro. I'll send you an address, and you can let me know if it's convenient for you. Perfect. Can't wait. In the interest of making a good impression, you change into a flattering outfit and lightly spritz yourself with some perfume, which you bought a while back, but haven't had the chance to use it until now. You doubt Shadow is the type to fall for someone so easily, but you figure it can't hurt to be as presentable as possible. It's been quite some time since you last seen each other, but man, he's just as attractive as always. It's kind of unfair. Hi, Shoto! You've been happily boning over to him. I was super happy to get your task. How are you doing today? I'm okay. His expression is every bit as stoic as you're used to. But just like before, there's no mistaking that hint of sadness in his eyes. Despite his words, you doubt he's actually okay. And the system is quick to confirm it. Todero Kishoro is hoping you can help to take his mind off some family troubles. Plus 10 love points. Current progress 30 over 100. You do your best to not let any sympathy creep into your expression. Lets you give his reason to be suspicious. Family troubles, huh? You don't know the specifics, but however it is, it probably sucks big time. In a way, you also have family troubles, namely the fact that you can't even remember most things about them, but you don't need your memories to know that it isn't a thing to going to deal with. The people close to a person are often the ones that hurt them the most after all. I'll do my best to cheer him up. I want him to be happy. You plaster on a smile. So, what do you have in mind for today? Is there anything fun that you wanted to try? Fun. Shoto blinks, as if the concept of as if very concept is foreign to him. I don't know. I can't really think of anything like that. You know, like going to exactly like going to an arcade, doing karaoke, watching a movie. Does anything sounds like something you're interested in? Not really. He admits with a shrug. We can do whatever you want. I'm not used to meeting up with people like this, if I'm being honest. You're pretty much the only person I talk to, so that's why I contact you. While you somewhat appreciate the fact that you're special to him in a way, it's also quite upsetting that he has no one else to talk to apart from you. You feel that he would really benefit from a bigger social circle, some kind of support system to get him through whatever he's dealing with. It's fine though, he still has you, and you're going to do everything in your power to help him out. I think watching a movie is probably a good place to start, you say. We're pretty close to theaters after all. Let's check out what's playing right now. Shoto nods absently. Alright. It turns out that the only options are either some low budget slasher flick or what appears to be one of the cheesiest rom-coms you've ever seen in your life. Neither is great, if you're being honest, but you figure it's less about the movies itself and more about spending time together. For a while, you contemplate watching a romance movie in the hopes of setting the mood, but then you decided to go with the cliched approach of watching a horror movie and pretending to be scared so that he can console you. That trick doesn't that trick doesn't work on him. Oh no! You stammer robotically, speaking out of the screen from in between your fingers. This is so scary. I'm really, really scared, Shoto. That's a big fat lie. The special effects are hardly impressive, and and the acting is so fake that it isn't scaring you at all. But you hope that Shoto's protective instincts might take over or something. Maybe he'll wrap you up in his arms or pat your head to calm you down. It's wishful thinking, but still. Shoto munches off his popcorns, glancing at you in disbelief. What part of this is scary? Uh, all of it? Hmm. I didn't expect you to be so squeamish. Well, if it scares you that much, we can always leave. This isn't the reaction I was hoping for. Clearly, your plan is bust. So, for the remainder of the movie, you lean back in your seat and watch on with a disinterested expression. You try engaging Shoto in a conversation here and there, but he ignores you and says that it's rude to talk during a movie, even though the theater is practically empty, apart from the two of you. Sorry, you sighed, dragging your feet out of the theater. I wasn't expecting the movie to be so bad. I guess it probably wasn't that entertaining. Shoto just shrugs. It was fine. I couldn't tell if it was good or bad. I don't usually watch movies. Does, the, does this guy do anything for fun? You're actually starting to get worried. He's remarkably closed off, and the fact that he doesn't seem to have any hobbies or interests is concerning. You wonder if this has something to do with his home life. You desperately hope he isn't being neglected or abused. Still, you set off to lift his spirits, and you aren't going home without doing that. I think there's a park nearby, you suggest. If we hop on a bus, we should be able to get there pretty quickly. How does that sound? By now, you should probably have realized that Shoto is willing to go along with just anything, without thinking much about it. Okay, he says. Thankfully, the weather is nice, so taking a stroll through a park isn't such a bad idea. You still have about an hour or two before the sun starts setting. The fresh breeze and occasional excited squeals from nearby children are enough to make a smile rise to your lips. It's nice here, you hum. You pause, scanning Shoto's expression for their reaction. Maybe next time we meet up, we can come back here for a picnic. To your relief, he nods, which means that hanging out in the future isn't out of the question. This feels promising. Even if progress with him is bound to be slow, at least it isn't a lost cause. As always, it's difficult to keep a steady conversation going, but it must be because Shoto isn't the talkative person by nature. Once you get to know each other, he'll hopefully start to open up a bit more. You think things are going pretty well until he abruptly stops in place, and you realize he's staring at a group of people. It's a family of 6, 2 parents and 4 children. Oh, oh no. And by the looks of things, they can hardly contain their smile as they chase each other around, tumbling into the grass together and giggling. In a lot of ways, they're the perfect picture family, so happy and loving towards one another. Based on the system update from earlier, you know exactly what's going through Shoto's mind right now. He's looking at them with so fondly, almost enviously, I'd say. That pretty much confirms it. He and his family must be in really bad terms. You know you can't possibly make up for whatever heartache his family has caused him, but you still feel compelled to reach over and gently grab him by the hand. Come on, you smile. There's a crepe stand over there. We can get something yummy to eat. Shoto doesn't try to push you away. Instead, his brow trembles a bit, and he actually looks grateful that you're squeezing his fingers with so much tenderness. All right. He nods. He isn't quite smiling, but at least he doesn't look so sad anymore. Status update. Todoroki Shoto feels like he's made the right call by inviting you out today. Plus 20 love points. Current progress 50 out of 100. Oh, wait. Athena's Archive. Love interest. Midoriya Izuku. Friend. 100 over 200. Bakugo Katsuki. Rival. 40 out of 100. Todoroki Shoto. Acquaintance. 50 out of 100. Shigaraki Tomura. Enemy. Minus 10 over 200. Additional entries in progress. Woohoo! Woohoo! I'm going to continue because we're just missing one chapter to get to the 12th, and it will be such a shame and not very intelligent of my part if I just end up stream right here. So we're going to continue. Chapter 11. Confounding Memory. You feel pretty awful. Right now, right from the morning, when you come stumbling into class late after sleeping in, you kind of get the sense that it will be one of those days. Late again, Athena. The teacher clicks his tongue and gives you a mildly frustrated look. Are you trying to set a record for the worst attendance this school has ever had? Anyway, you get detention. Stay after class and clean these windows. Bitch! Your teacher seems to hate you for some reason. It most likely has to do with the fact that you have the habit of dozing off during class, as well as your freaking late arrivals, but you just can't help it. You're tired. Day in and day out, you've been doing your daily task and training to try and get stronger, and it exhausts you like crazy. Add mental stress and the frustration that comes with your amnesia, and you're far from being a well-rested person. Academically speaking, you're pretty average, but the teacher doesn't seem to care that you're passing all of your tests and getting decent grades. By now, he's given you detention more times than you'd even count. Maybe he's going through a divorce and taking his anger on you or something. Who knows? Yes, sir, you mumble, letting out a quiet sigh. I'm sorry. It would have been fine if that's all the day has in store for you. But of course, it isn't. As it turns out, all of the students are required to fill out a form detailing their career plans for their future. And there's one career in particular everyone seems to have their eyes set on. This is the canon beginning. Namely, becoming a hero. Sensei, Katsuki's arrogant voice cuts in. Don't lump me up. Don't lump me in with the rest of these extras. They can't even come close to me. He's bragging about being the better than the others, which is nothing out of the ordinary, but then when the topic of UA comes up, pretty much everyone knows that Katsuki is aiming for UA, and given how powerful his quirk is, they can't understand why he thinks he has a shot at getting in. There is, however, another person who's always dreaming of attending UA, and maybe the scumbag that your teacher is, he decided to single him out. All right, he stums. Midori also wants to go to UA, doesn't he? And just like that, the entire class falls silent. But within a few moments, you come to prefer the silence, because what follows makes your heart sink. Everyone starts laughing at Izuku. Ha 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 ha, Midoriya? Seriously? There's just no way. It doesn't matter how much you study, that alone isn't enough to let you become a hero. Their cruel stunts and jeers are practically endless, and you're forced to watch as shame squashes over Izuku's expression. You try speaking up, but your whirring voice gets lost amid the billowing chatter. And by that point, Katsuki is already inching towards Izuku, sparking off explosion as he does. He backs Izuku against the wall and glares at him with pure hatred. What the hell is the matter with you, Deku? Forget being an extra. You don't even have a quirk. So where do you have the nerve? Pretending like you can stand at the same ring as me. What can a weakling like you possibly accomplish? It's not like that, Izuku stammers nervously. I just can't help it. It's been the dream of mine ever since I was little. That's all he managed to muster as a response. He has since fallen to the ground, forced to look up at the people ridiculing him. For just a moment, his eyes flicker towards you, and there's no mistaking that pained look he gives you. Status update. Midoriya Izuku is ashamed that you have to see him in such a sorry state. Minus 10 love points. Current progress 90 over 200. You part your lips to try and console him somehow, but everyone quickly moves on from the shameless harassment they've just partaken in, and classes proceed as if nothing ever happened. Things only gets worse, though. Once the school bell chimes, silently at the end of the day, you make a beeline of his for Izuku's desk. You can't walk home with him after this time, since you have to stay for detention, but you still want to say goodbye and maybe even try to lift his spirits a bit. I'm not done talking with you, Deku. Katsuki pushes you out of the way and snatches the notebook Izuku's been holding. It's one of his hero analysis notebooks where he compiles of his observations that he's made so far, and there are countless of them. This one is titled number 13. But regardless of how many he has, you know each one of them means a lot to Izuku. And Katsuki decides to blow this one up. Your jaw drops open. Izuku can only stare at him in horror, shaking uncontrollably. The cover and pages of the notebook had been charred beyond repair. You're left wondering if the note inside will still be legible. Too cruel, Izuku whimpers. This is just too cruel. Katsuki rolls his eyes, then chucks the entire notebook out of the window. Quit it with the whining. Listen up, 'cause I want you to get something through that thick head of yours. A common link between top heroes is that they all came from unremarkable schools. They were the first to make history and land themselves at UA. Being a perfectionist, I can't help but want to maintain that streak. You get where I'm going with this? He inches closer, likely to threaten Izuku some more, but you grab him by the arm before you can get anything further. Katsuki, you mumble. It's a scarlet whisper, as your tone isn't filled with anger either. There's no sense in fighting fire with fire. Screaming at Katsuki or starting a fight will just have the opposite effect. In that case, the most of you can hope for is to earn his sympathy. Your gaze is imploring you as you lightly squeeze his arm and holding him back. Please just stop, you breathe. Everyone already knows you're going to get into UA. Can't you just let Izuku have a dream? He's not doing anything to you. So just please. It takes Katsuki a few moments to let your words sink in. He doesn't even look angry at first. In fact, if you didn't know any better, you might think he looks hurt. Shut up, he eventually snaps. Bakugo Katsuki hates that you keep standing up for Midoriya Izuku. Minus 10 love points. Current progress 30 over 100. Well, that was a swing and a miss. You suppose it could have been worse, though. At least he isn't yelling and threatening violence. Katsuki turns his attention back to Izuku. Anyway, just keep up on UA, nerd. It's a lot cost for a bum like you. You hope that's the end of it, based on the fact that he and his lackeys are already walking away. But Katsuki makes sure to glance over his back to glance back over his shoulder one last time. His eyes met with yours for just a moment, and a conceited grin is quick to stretch across his face. If you really want a quirk so badly, then it's simple. Just try believing you'll find one in another life. Ha ha! A few cruel chuckles leave his lips, and it takes more moment for you to process what you just heard. The worst part, it isn't that it isn't entirely unfamiliar. You swear Katsuki uttered those exact words before at some point or another, but when? Ugh, my head starts to hurting again. Seem rather satisfied with his victory, Katsuki leaves. You're now alone with Izuku, and you can't help but feel guilty about not having done anything to spare him from all of this heartache. Quite frankly, You were itching to slap Katsuki across the face ever since he blew up Izuku's notebook, but a part of you is still terrified of what the system might do to punish you. I'm sorry, you immediately apologized. I should have done more. I should probably make him take back his words. I'm sorry, Izuku. You feel like a bad friend, but Izuku doesn't seem to think so. His eyes are red with sadness, the way they always are whenever he's being ridiculed or mistreated. But you know he wouldn't try to blame you for any of it. He shook his head, sniffing a bit. I'm fine. Thank you for being here, Athena. I'm glad you didn't do anything reckless. The only thing worse would it be if I had to watch Kajan take his hunger out of you instead. I'd be alright, so don't worry about me. This is just reality. I'm quirkless, so there's really no helping it. You open your mouth to protest, but Izuku lets out a shaky chuckle. Anyway, I'm gonna go get my notebook back. It looked like it fell into some water, so it probably soaked by now. But I like to try and salvage if I can. I'll come with you, you insist. But the second you try to take even a single step out of the classroom, the teacher clears his throat. Athena, where do you think you're going? He frowns. You have detention, remember? Ugh. You know for a fact that he overheard the entire exchange between Katsuki and Izuku, but didn't so much as leave a finger to stop it. He didn't even intervene back when the whole class openly laughing at Izuku. The education system needs to do a better job of hiring teachers, because some of them are royally suck. I'll be right back. I just want to walk my friend to the school gate, you say. Even though that's a lie, it goes without saying that you'll get in trouble for ditching detention. But you have no intention of leaving Izuku alone after what he just went through. The teacher scoffs. Do you think I was born yesterday? You're not going anywhere. Now, chop chop, these windows need to be wiped down. You nail so sharply, your teeth begin to hurt. It's amazing that you somehow hate this guy more than Katsuki himself. Probably because he's an adult, and adults are supposed to know better. Izuku forces a smile. It's okay. Don't worry about me. I don't want you to get any trouble. I'll text you when I get home, alright? Alright. You can hide your disappointment, but knowing your teacher, it wouldn't be a surprise if he told you to clean the entire school at this rate. Maybe Izuku wants to be alone right now. Anyway, maybe the best thing you can do is give him a bit of space. Izuku waves off and leaves the classroom. Although there's no mistaking how sluggish his steps are, everything Katsuki did and said is definitely hitting him hard. He just doesn't want to admit it and risk worrying you. Athena, the teacher says again, gesturing towards the windows impatiently. Get on with it, please, and by the time you're done, I'd like to be able to see my reflection clear as day. Got it? Man. I thought that was Athena. Man, this guy's a real piece of work. Tell me about it, you cried out. While you're wiping and polishing all the classroom windows, which is a lot more of a workout than you expected, Izuku is dealing with something much more eventful, but you don't realize it until news breaks and gets the alert on your phone. To summarize, some sort of slime villain was wreaking havoc through town, and by a stroke of bad luck, he ended up attacking Katsuki and essentially taking him hostage. All of the news articles can't help but praise the Blunt for his bravery and resilience, saying that he did an amazing job of putting in a fight against the villain. Eventually, the number one hero, All Might, came to the rescue. But that isn't it. In fact, All Might wasn't the first person to try and save Katsuki, even though the news doesn't outright state his name, even though the news doesn't straight out his name, civilians reported that a boy with curly green hair, wearing the same uniform as Katsuki, rushed headfirst into danger and tried to free him from the slime villain. Izuku. Despite not having a quirk, it's exactly the sort of thing you would expect from him. He probably didn't even stop to think of his own well-being before jumping to help his former friend, who has since become his bully. Izuku is incredibly kind. His overwhelming desire to become a hero means that he's always ready to put himself in harm's way. Even though he's terrified of Katsuki, that still hasn't stopped him from always doing his best to stick it up for you. If the news sources are to be trusted, then neither Katsuki nor Izuku have been seriously injured because All Might saved them both in time. Regardless, that doesn't stop you from worrying. You initially only planned on calling Izuku tonight, but after finding out what you missed, you need to see him in person. So, you just do that. Izuku! You cried out, immediately rushed towards him. You're relieved to find that he doesn't have any visible injuries, and it seems like the news sources were accurate in that regard. It's strange, though. You would have thought that after such a close encounter with a villain, he wouldn't be incredibly shaken up. He's already that terrible day thanks to Katsuki, so you were expecting his expression to be 100 times downcast than earlier. But it isn't. Quite the opposite, actually. He can't just stop. He can't just do that. He just can't seem to stop smiling. Athena! He beams. Hey, I didn't think we ended up seeing each other. Hey, I didn't think we'd end up seeing each other again today. You must be a bit worried when you find out what happened, but I promise I'm fine. Midoriya Izuku is happy to see you're concerned about him. Plus 20 love points. Well, if he's in a good mood, then you certainly aren't complaining. He deserves to be happy, so it's actually a huge relief that he seems to be better now. Maybe he's really excited because he got saved by All Might. He's finally met his idol. That would certainly make sense. Getting attacked by a villain is far from being what you consider a good time, but it's nice that it landed him face to face with the person he looked up at the most. I'm really glad you're okay. You pause, smiling a bit. You seem pretty happy. All Might must have been cooler, even cooler person in person, huh? It's great you finally got to meet him. Did he give you his autograph? Izuku's grin's even wider, and he nods his head enthusiastically. He did. I actually have it in the notebook Kachon blew it earlier. It's pretty much my family. It's pretty much my family heirloom now. Oh, that's cute. I'm so happy for you, Izuku. Yeah, I really got to meet All Might, and he stopped himself all of a sudden. It looked like he's trying to keep from getting too excited. In the way his lips would keep wobbling is any indication. Midoriya Izuku is happy he met All Might and wishes he could tell you what really happened between them. Plus 20 love points. Huh? What's that supposed to mean? Is there something he purposefully leaving out? After meeting All Might, I'm feeling a lot more confident. Izuku happily goes. I've decided I'm done with letting people discourage me. I'm going to become a hero, no matter what it takes. I really feel like I can do it now. Is this the effect All Might's presence has on someone? Then you can definitely understand why he's hailed as the strongest and most adored hero. But something about the way Izuku's talking just isn't adding up. He seemed much more sure of himself all of a sudden, and it's the sort of thing that simply encourage alone probably can't achieve. As if affirming your exact thoughts, you're suddenly seized by the most splitting headache you've ever felt. Ugh! You clutch at your head, doing your best to bite back the tears and keep from losing yourself in the pain. You can just barely hear Izuku calling out of concern, but your senses are overlaid right now and you can't discern what he's saying. It's happening again. You're just on the cusp of remembering something. You can become a hero. Look, I just said it wrong. You can be a hero. As a matter of fact, you are the one most worthy of inheriting my power. The images flitting around to your mind are difficult to make sense at first. You can tell who's talking, but after you give yourself a few moments to adjust to the scene, you realize there's a man speaking to Izuku, while the boy is crumpled onto the ground, with tears spilling from his eyes. That man is All Might. The longer the scene plays out, and you watch as he speaks of matters that shouldn't be possible, such as passing his quirk on Izuku to inherit, the more dumbstruck you feel. For one thing, All Might doesn't even look like himself. He's incredibly thin and frail. Gaunt, even. Nothing like his insurmountable wall that all villains are said to fear. But it is All Might, and he's telling Izuku that he's chosen him as his successor. That he can become a hero despite being quirkless. All Might is going to give him the greatest power there is. One for all. You can't make sense of what's going on. When this happened before, you knew for a fact that it was a memory from your past. Your mother was speaking to you in that memory, but here, you're nowhere to be found. How can it be a memory if you aren't even present? Izuku only just met All Might for the first time today, which means that the entire interaction happened less than a few hours ago. How can this be a memory? Am I imagining things? I don't understand what's going on. As always, you're drawing a blank, but it wasn't. But if what you just seen is the truth, that All Might is somehow going to pass his quirk to Izuku, then it certainly explains why he's suddenly so optimistic. Wincing a bit, you slowly open your eyes and find that Izuku is almost in tears. Oh, thank God! He cries out. What happened? Are you okay? You look like you were in a lot of pain for some reason. I'm fine, you reassure, gently patting him, gently patting him on the shoulder. It was just an acute migraine, but Izuku, is there anything else you wanted to tell me? Huh? He really, he really does look rather stiff all of a sudden, almost as if he's nervous in them. He might let something slip. Nope, Izuku insists, doing a rather poor job of being convincing. I'm just super excited because I got to meet my favorite hero. It ended up being a really great day. All Might was really nice and encouraged me, and every bit as strong as I expected. Midoriya Izuku really wishes he could tell you the truth, because you're so important to him, but he made a promise, so he can't. Plus 10 love points. Current progress 140 over 200. Well, that pretty much confirms it. Receiving All Might's quirk is some sort of secret meant to keep between the two of them. Naturally, you have no intention of getting involved and potentially ruining things. If he needs to keep it a secret, then it's probably for a good reason. Besides, based on what you just saw, it means that Izuku finally has a quirk. He no longer has any reason to feel insecure and doubt his potential, and for that, you're truly thankful. You flash him a grin. Alright, I was just checking. Seriously though, tell me about what All Might's like in person. Is he funny? Are his muscles just as big as he looked in the interviews? His muscles are even bigger in person. Holy cow! You seem to have remembered something. I won't ask you to tell me what it is, so don't worry. But based on the progress you made up until now, I feel like you're probably ready to receive your first ability. Take a look. Status update. You have unlocked a new ability. Critical hit. Ability description. Weak spots will appear on your designing target. Successfully hitting these weak spots will allow you to deal amplified damage. Damage scales based on your strength skill points. Sounds pretty useful. Hopefully I can actually make this work, unlike what happened with the quick function. You're choosing not to focus on all the system stuff right now. There's plenty of time for that. What's most important is the fact that Izuku has finally given the opportunity he deserves, and you honestly couldn't be happier. Chon, 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 chon. With Let me pause. Let me get the music on. Woo! It's falling. It's falling. And here's the music. Guys, girls, and gals, and everyone who's watching this, we've reached the 12th chapter for the fic. So you know what that means? Next stream, we are already changing stories, and we're going to start with Elysian from Also Wattpad. This is crazy. I just had 3 streams. Well, technically 4 because last time the stream just cut themselves. But that wasn't the case today, although I think it was going to cut because suddenly my computer just starts getting how do you say this? Like stuck. But it didn't cut transmission, so we're good. And with all this said and done, that was an unexpected fic. Like, I've watched this series, like the Japanese series that are the system, like the system, right? Like they have a system that details everything. But I think I haven't read a fanfiction that has a system like on this one. It was curious and it was quite alright, if I say so. But anyways, if you want to continue the story, as always, I'll be leaving the link on the description below, and also to the new profile of Kikyo that is now Star what? Starflame. So, if you want to keep on reading it at your own pace. But as for me, I'm happy I didn't get my stream cut off, And I'm going to start trying to figure how am I still going to the streams, because my schedule is starting to get a little bit messier with the time being. But hopefully I'll still be able to do this. So, with all this said and done, thank you so much for supporting my channel and my projects. And if you would like to see more, there's always the option to subscribe. And if you want to be with me on these reaction streams, you can always subscribe and also get the notifications bell on. Because as always, as I've been talking too much, I don't have a schedule for streaming. But that's okay, I like it. Yeah. So anyways, I'm going to leave. If I just get this thing good, there it is. As always, thank you so much, and I'll be seeing you on the next video, stream, or whatever I have in mind. Have a good day. Bye. Wait, there we go. Bye.